displaying the glory of God's creation by exploring America one park at a time. Welcome to Parking Full Time with Big Dave, the park's professor. First hole. The par and distance are at the top of the screen. This hole is very flat, very straight, pretty open, and honestly it's almost a warm-up hole, especially compared to some of the many fine holes that are to come. I do want to welcome you back to Parking Full Time. I am Big Dave, the park's professor. We are at Reedy Creek Park. We are on the east side of Charlotte, North Carolina. There's the first basket. And there's the view back to the tee from behind the basket. Now the course really begins. The second hole is a fairly tight dogleg left. There is a stream and a steep bank stream here right in front of the tee. So we're going to jump over that, and then we're going to head slightly uphill towards the basket. There are two possible lines of play here. There's a more direct line of play to the left, and then there is a more sweeping line of play over to the right that gives you a better angle to come into the basket from. Personally, I chose the line of play to the right. I found it easier to get to the basket that way. But that's not the only possible choice. There's the second basket. The third hole is another fairly tight hole, and it's a slight dogleg right. I need to say a word about the two distances that I'm giving you. Most of these holes have two tees. There's the original tee, which is the shorter distance, and then there is another tee which they call the stout tee, and that's the longer distance. This course is one of the oldest courses in Charlotte, and it's been redesigned and lengthened at least once, and that's why you have the two tees and the two distances here. The lengthening they did is a little bit awkward. There are quite a few holes where you have to throw directly over the original tee, and in some cases even directly over, say, a bench that's right beside the original tee. And so it's a little awkward, but it gets the job done. The fourth hole is one of the more open holes on this course. We start out in this wide open mowed grass field, but now we're going to dogleg right as we head into the woods up here. In general, this course is very heavily wooded. If you like shorter courses that feature dense woods, then you're going to really like this course. I personally do like those type of courses, and therefore I do really like this course. My disc throwing is reasonably accurate, but I don't throw it very far. There's the fourth basket. And there's the view back to the tee. The fifth hole is a classic hole that plays across a steep ravine. The window to throw through if you're playing from the stout tee is fairly narrow, and therefore you're going to need a fairly accurate throw. From the original tee, it's much more wide open, and you hit this more open area much more quickly. We're going to jump across the creek here at the bottom of the ravine, and then we're going to head steeply uphill to get to the basket. You can see the basket is placed right behind this wooden wall that was constructed here. That's a nice little design, I like that. It adds a little variety and gives you an extra little obstacle to deal with. Hole number 6 is one of the longest holes on this course. It plays across this little clearing here, but you can see we're going to head right back into the woods. This course never really breaks out of the woods. And there aren't any holes here that are really open and really play through an open area. Also, there are two baskets on this hole. There is a short white basket, which you're going to see off to the left up here in just a couple of minutes. And then the basket we're walking to is actually the long blue basket, which is straight away and more off to the right. It's a par 4 if you play to the blue basket. It's a par 3 if you play to the white basket. Personally, I like the blue basket better. I like how it's kind of nestled in a corner here with a bunch of trees around it. So for a short par 4, as compared to all of the par 3s that are on the front 9, the rest of the front 9, I like this as a par 4. There's the basket and the view back to the tee. The seventh hole is kind of a strange hole. It starts off on top of the hill, and then it's going to head steeply downhill through a dense jumble of trees. From the stout tee, this is a straightaway hole. The original tee is actually off to the left at the top of the hill, and from the original tee, it's actually a sharp dogleg left. This is a real jumble of trees down here, and there's no real obvious line of play through the trees. It would take a really good and maybe really lucky throw to get down to the basket. It's about a 5-minute walk from the 7th basket to the 8th tee. You want to follow some small orange discs that they nailed to trees in order to navigate through the woods and through the trails to get there. The 8th hole is a very straightforward hole. It plays through a nice pine planting, but it's very straight and it's very flat, and it's very similar to the first hole except that it plays in the opposite direction. I captured this video on Thursday, November the 9th, and it was a beautiful fall day with temperatures in the upper 60s when I came here. There was some nice leaf color on this day as well. 9th hole, and of course final hole on the front 9. This hole has a reasonably wide fairway for such a short hole, and it is a slight dogleg right. The stairs you see off to the left there, those lead down to the 10th tee. But a good throw here with a left to right disc flight should set you up for a good birdie opportunity. Since this is the last hole on the front 9, I do want to thank you for watching. Parking full-time would not be anything without the people who watch. I realize that every day, and I thank you every day. This is a nice 9 holes and a nice course. I will see you on the back 9. Until then, have a great afternoon, take care, and Lord bless.